Hi, I'm Dean Drysdale, and I'd like to be your Conservative candidate in the next federal election. You know, there's a tendency in nomination contests to focus exclusively on local issues. Local issues are important, but we should also take the time to talk about Canada's place in the world. When I began my campaign a year ago, I talked about the importance of having a strong Canadian military, and events since then have proven my point. Who would have predicted then that Vladimir Putin would invade Ukraine? Who would have predicted then that Boko Haram would kidnap whole schools full of Christian girls and sell them into slavery? Who would have predicted then that a new group known as ISIS or ISIL would be rampaging its way through Syria and Iraq, threatening the stability of the whole region? None of us would have predicted those things, and that's the point, isn't it? None of us knows for sure how the future will unfold. I believe we need to be strong enough to handle both the foreseeable and the unforeseeable. So, when do we use these forces? Well, obviously we must stand with our allies in NATO. But what about Ukraine? Do we help them in their hour of need? Personally, I'm proud of the firm position that Prime Minister Harper has taken in support of the Ukrainian people. We can't just ignore the invasion of Ukraine. We know where appeasement leads. How about Israel? Do we support them when they're attacked? Again, I'm proud of Prime Minister Harper's position that Israel has a right to exist and to defend itself. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, and despite whatever faults they may have, I'd rather be a Muslim in Israel than a Christian or a Jew in any other country in the region. Critics of Israel, if they're not guilty of anti-Semitism, are at least guilty of having a double standard, one for Israel and another for other countries in the region. The recent beheadings by ISIS show just how deep the hatred is among some of these extremist elements in that part of the world, and why we don't ever want to be at the mercy of people like that. They have no mercy. Their hatreds have robbed them of that aspect of their humanity. So what do? Well, Canada has to be strong enough to defend herself, and strong enough to help our friends, and strong enough to help countries where freedom is threatened, and strong enough to protect the weak and the dispossessed. Those are Conservative values. Those are Canadian values I would work toward if you send me to Ottawa as your Conservative Member of Parliament.